This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 4th day of March in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The Guyana Teachers Union has agreed to end its nationwide strike by teachers as the government has agreed to meet with the union to restart negotiations on salary and other matters. Representatives of the GTU and the government ended their court-ordered mediation this afternoon after several hours of mediation talks today. Just before 6 p.m., the two sides emerged and announced that an agreement had been reached. Under the agreement, teachers will return to work on or before Wednesday, the 6th of March, and discussions between the two sides shall begin within 48 hours of the resumption of work and shall be in relation to the matters which either of the two sides considers relevant for discussion, and that includes financial matters. The discussions are to be held at the Ministry of Education and will continue for a reasonable period of time. GTU President Mark Light has welcomed the agreement, stating that the upcoming meeting will cover all of the issues at the collective bargaining level.
Yeah, the commitment is that on or before the 6th of March, we expect that our teachers will return. I've been giving them the assurance that the financial matters, as we were hammering them out, will be discussed come Thursday.
So the strike is called off?
Yes.
So that will probably be on Thursday?
So this is a process of conciliation as well, or?
Now, there's a process of a discussion with the Ministry of Education on all the matters pertaining to our multi-year collective agreement.
How optimistic?
Well, that is before the court. The matter with the finances being financial deductions, as well as the deductions of dues, remittance of dues, those are before the court. So those were not placed on the table.
And GTU attorney Darren Wade said the signed agreement covers financial matters, which would include the salary matters. He indicated that a burden has now been placed on the government to ensure that the matters that have been raised by the teachers in their multi-year agreement are fully addressed.
Well, the agreement has to act in good faith. So it puts a burden on the government whenever they're at the table to ensure that the teachers' issues are addressed. So they cannot come and not work. So we
issues is a wide word. It could mean anything. Financially, the issue that is at hand is the pay increase. What commitment have you been given that will be addressed?
No, all issues. And if you look at the agreement, and financial matters are mentioned in the agreement for discussion.
The state's attorney Dashram Ramdani said it is important for the teachers to return to the classroom in the interest of the nation's children, hence the agreement. He said the dispute between the government and the GTU will now take on a more conciliatory approach.
The government has been engaging with the unions, and so we are very pleased that they are returning to the table and that these conversations, discussions, meaningful one for the teachers of this country and for the students of this country and for the general good governance of this country, that this will now take on a more conciliatory approach.
Meanwhile, the GTU's case against the government over its efforts to cut the salaries of those teachers who were on strike will continue. The strike by teachers started just over 4 weeks ago, with thousands of teachers from across the country staying away from their classrooms, forcing their students to stay home. The strike action was called after the GTU said its efforts over the past 3 years to get the government to meet and discuss salary issues were ignored by the APNU administration. More news coming up in just a moment.
In 2024, $240.1 billion from oil revenues will be channeled into the country's development. These funds will support the government's investment into infrastructural developments, welfare programs, and improvement in the people's standard of living.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Major drama erupted at the Gana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union head office this morning as the outgoing management committee refused to make way for the new management committee, which was elected at last Saturday's special general meeting.
Read the law. SOPs. Read the law. This is what have you where you are. This is not statement of poll. Read the law. You have to read the law. You cannot have people going after. Look what is private time. You have to be in the meeting. I asked Lucas and I asked Rose IT. How is it that I did not register and I was in the meeting? Prior to 2 o'clock on the 2nd of March, I did not register. How is it at 2 o'clock? They registered me at 2 o'clock and told me to vote. At 2 p.m., I registered up. That is nothing to do with the regulations. See, please leave. Thank you. Please leave. Thank you.
A team headed by former chairman of the credit union Trevor Ben won Saturday's elections, but the outgoing management committee headed by Karen Van Slytman Corbin has declared that Saturday's meeting, which was ordered by the court, was illegal and it was not held in accordance with the rules that govern the society. The credit union has since asked the chief cooperative development officer of the Ministry of Labor to intervene in the matter. This morning, as a newly elected management committee turned up at the credit union, several members of the outgoing management committee banged on the desk and shouted and chased those who were elected on Saturday. Many of those who were elected stood their ground even as the noisy protest by some members of the outgoing committee grew, with one member even hopping up on the table to take a seat. News source understands that while the credit union awaits the Labor Ministry's intervention, the team headed by Trevor Ben will be heading back to the courts to have the matter resolved, since they're of the view that the meeting was properly held and followed the procedures and process as was outlined by the court. It was the High Court that ruled that a special general meeting must be held and laid down strict timelines and rules on how that meeting should be conducted. Mr. Ben, who was ousted as a credit union chairman in 2022, picked up the most votes on Saturday. Of the 1,907 votes cast, Mr. Ben bagged over 1,800 of those votes. He was elected alongside current Vice Chairman Patrick Mentor, Treasurer Rajai Jagannath, former Finance Manager Judah Louisi, along with Christopher Thompson, Vanessa Kissoon, Mahalai McCalmont, John Anderson, Eslyn Harris, Kirk Fraser, Candace Nelson, and Beverly DeJohn. One of the newly elected committee members told news source that they met among themselves today, and they have so far decided to elect Trevor Ben as chairman once again to run the credit union. Well-known bar ticket businessman and gold miner 50-year-old Zahir Muhammad Sharif and the porter 30-year-old Donovan Washington were shot dead on Sunday morning in the Arimu Back Dam in Cuyana during a gold heist. The incident took place at around 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. According to a police report, the gold miner and his worker were making their way out of the Arimu Back Dam heading to Bartica with 102 ounces of gold when they were attacked by two masked men on an ATV. The 50-year-old was shot at least 4 times, while the other man was shot at least 7 times to his body. The bodies were discovered by the general manager of the mining operation owned and operated by Zahir Sheriff. The man claimed that moments after his boss and the porter left the mining site for Bartica on their ATV, he heard several gunshots. He told investigators that when he reached the scene, he found the bodies of the 2 men and realized that the gold that they had in their possession, as well as Mr. Sheriff's licensed firearm, were all missing. Police investigators who visited the scene of the double murder said they found several live rounds, as well as a number of spent shells near the bodies. A full investigation has been launched. A post-mortem examination was conducted on the bodies of the 2 men and found that they both died from multiple gunshot wounds. The Bartica businessman was a treasurer and a director with a small miners association. In a statement, the association said the circumstances surrounding the double murder during a suspected robbery serve as a stark reminder of the grave dangers faced by those living and working in Guyana's interior region. According to the association, such acts of violence not only rob individuals of their lives, but also shatter the peace and security of the communities.
At the most critical life-changing moments, the National Insurance Scheme is here to ensure that your needs are covered. Access reimbursement for medical expenses for various aspects of your medical care. We know that eye care is of utmost importance. Receive assistance with our Spectacle Care voucher. Visiting the dentist? Dental care is also covered under our sickness benefit services. Offset the funeral expenses of a loved one with costs covered by our funeral benefits. National Insurance Scheme. We're there every step of the way.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo, from its pristine rivers to its abundant resources. It's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
In the court now, former murder accused Theon Allan, also known as Spoiled Child, was charged and remanded to jail today on illegal possession of gun and ammunition charges. The police said Allan was nabbed on Saturday night outside the Lenora Stadium with an unlicensed 9mm pistol, along with 18 live matching rounds. He was immediately arrested by ranks and was taken to court today. In court today, he pleaded not guilty to the charges as he appeared before Magistrate Zamina Ali Sepol at the Lenora Magistrates Court. He was remanded to jail until the 27th of March, when the matter will continue. Allan is well known to law enforcement and was a suspected gang leader in Linden. Back in 2020, he was charged and remanded for the murder of his girlfriend, who was found shot to death at her Linden home. However, the Director of Public Prosecutions recently discontinued the murder charge against him, claiming insufficient and poor evidence to get a conviction. He was released from prison without any announcement, and it only became public information that he was no longer on remand for the murder charge when the police announced his arrest on Saturday night in connection with the illegal gun and ammunition charges. 5 days after the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit issued a wanted bulletin for his arrest, former national cycling champion Tyrone Hamilton turned himself into the Gana investigators this morning in the company of his lawyer Nigel Hughes. Last Wednesday, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit issued wanted bulletins for Hamilton and another man, Gavin Mcke, as they continued their investigations into a 156-pound cocaine bust at the Cheddi-Jagan airport. The whereabouts of Mcke remain unknown. His wife, Jessica Mcke, was arrested and questioned by APNU, but was released after spending 3 days in custody. 2 airport workers are already facing drug trafficking charges in connection with the same drug bust. The 2 were arrested by APNU agents at the airport after they were reportedly spotted collecting 2 bags over the fence of the airport. APNU agents who started to monitor the 2 men later found them allegedly trying to load the drug-laden bags onto a British Airways flight. The 2 spent a number of days in APNU's custody being questioned about the cocaine before they were charged and remanded to prison. The drug bust is reportedly the largest one to ever take place at the Cheddi-Jagan International Airport. A new and united Guyana, APNU, which is one of the 3 joined-the-list parties that won a seat in the National Assembly at the last elections, is accusing the leader of one of the other parties of refusing to give up her parliamentary seat to allow the APNU representative into the National Assembly. Under their Memorandum of Understanding, the 3 parties agreed to share the seat in the National Assembly based on the votes they got. With just 244 votes, TNM was expected to spend 91 days in the rotating seat and then make way for the APNU representative. However, now more than 180 days later, since taking up that seat, the TNM leader Dr. Asher Kissoon is still to give it up. In a statement over the weekend, APNU said Dr. Kissoon is now an imposter in the National Assembly. The group explained that APNU offered to permit TNM to take the seat for their allotted period immediately after Mr. Schuman demitted office. Dr. Asher Kissoon assumed the seat in Parliament on behalf of TNM. The group said if she intended to honor the commitment made by her in the Memorandum of Understanding, then she should have resigned that seat in November. The party said with Dr. Kissoon not giving up the seat, she's going against the agreement reached between the 3 parties. APNU is calling on Dr. Kissoon to do the right thing, adding that it is regrettable that such circumstances have arisen, further undermining the confidence of the Guyanese people in third parties.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Across the region tonight, let's begin in Haiti, where the government has declared a state of emergency after armed gangs stormed a major prison. At least 12 people were killed and about 3,700 inmates escaped in the jailbreak. And gang leaders are now demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry, whose whereabouts are unknown since he traveled to Kenya. Gangs control around 80% of the capital of Port-au-Prince. Gang violence has plagued Haiti for years. A government statement said 2 prisons, one in Port-au-Prince and the other in nearby Croix, were stormed over the weekend. It said the acts of disobedience were a threat to national security and said it was instituting an immediate nighttime curfew in response across the country. Haitian media reported that police stations were attacked, distracting the authorities before the coordinated assault on the jails. For the first time, the government of Cuba has asked the UN's food program for help as food shortages on the communist-run island worsen. The World Food Program said it had received an unprecedented official request from the Cuban government for help providing powdered milk to children under 7 years of age. The request is a sign of the seriousness of Cuba's economic crisis, reports the BBC. The World Food Program has confirmed that it had been approached by the Cuban government to continue the monthly delivery of 1 kilogram of milk for girls and boys under the age of 7 throughout the country. The World Food Program said it had already started delivering milk powder to the island. Powdered milk and other basic food items are provided to Cubans at a subsidized price through ration books, but delays and lack of supplies are common, especially at times of economic hardship. And finally, the public supported amending the Constitution to protect the right to end a pregnancy. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.